In my previous video, I mentioned the possibility of Bitcoin going right down to about $114,000, and we did see Bitcoin go towards that price point. And what I want to show you guys today is the possibility of Bitcoin going even more downward. I think maybe we have gotten to the point where we are going to start seeing more downward price for Bitcoin than upward price. If you're new here, subscribe. If say you're a returning subscriber, do like and share. You're welcome to the Beton's Crypto. Yeah, I create content to help you understand what goes on in the crypto space. In today's video, as I mentioned, I want us to focus on Bitcoin. Maybe we are heading towards the bear market for Bitcoin, and I want you guys to see this ahead of time before everyone else. Now, this is the current structure of Bitcoin, and I want you guys to understand where we are on the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame is very important in the way I go about my trading. I mentioned in my previous video that we might see Bitcoin drop down to hit at least this moving average here, which is the 13-day EMA. Usually, when we see a huge move to the upside, price is going to bounce for or reject from the 13-day or the 5-day EMA before making the next high. And if it fails to hold the 13.5-day EMA, then it's going to get right down to the 50-day EMA. And if it fails to hold the 50-day EMA, then the target is going to be a 100-day EMA. And if it fails the 100-day EMA, go down to the 200-day and then down to the 800-day EMA. For now, the target, what we are looking at to see some sort of rejection, is this zone here around the 13-day EMA, and this is going to be about $112,000. And you can see we can drop right down to about $112,000. If we look at the heat map, you're going to see that we have liquidity here around $112,000, and we have liquidity here more around this 114,200. That's why I think there's high chance it's going to come right down here. So maybe it will be below $114,000, but look at where we have this liquidity right down to about $110,000. I've marked all of these zones on my chart. You can see clearly here. I have all of these lines you see here. They are all liquidity zones where I am expecting price to go to, and that's where I'm going to be taking action. And if we're going to break this zone and stay below this moving average, then guys, the right to the downside will be fantastic. For those of you who are going to be trading with me, we can go right down to even $98,000, or right down to even about $94,000 for Bitcoin, and this might mean break of structure on the weekly time frame. For now, I will say that we are good. We are good. We haven't yet broken structure on the weekly time frame. We are still a structure. If we look at where we are, look at the previous low and look at this low. So if we come right down here and break and close below this area, that's when the problem begins. But now, I think if we look at the liquidity heat map, there's also high chances we're gonna go right up to $120,000, or today we might head right up to $117,000 or $118,000. Now let's look at the coin and pro chart. Let's see where we have most of the liquidity and orders in the market. You can see open interest is dropping down on the 1 hour time frame, which is good, and you can see volume is increasing. You can see, looking at the previous volume bars, the ones now are like getting more and more and more higher, meaning we should be looking at a possible reversal here towards $118,000. As I mentioned, you can see price made it a huge move to the upside here, came down here, reject. I'm going to show you guys the chart so you can see more clearly. Below price, you can see clearly that we have a lot of orders here around this $114,000. Go right down, you're going to see we have more orders here around $112,000, and also here around 100, and yeah, still $12,000. And if you scroll down here right down to this zone, you see we have a lot of spot orders here, 19 million here. So like there's a lot of liquidity down here that they can push price to recover. And if we scroll more down, well, you see that we have lots of liquidity right down to around $110,000. So I think this move can take us right down to even $110,000 if still we keep going to the downside. That's why it's good to mark all of the areas where we have lots of liquidity. Now, if you look above price on this time frame, you can see that we also have lots of liquidity here around $118,000, yeah, $119,000, and more here around $125,000. Now, let's go to the liquidity heat map to see where we are on the weekly setup. Let's see where we are with liquidity on the weekly setup so we can understand the bigger picture here in the future. And guys, I'm doing this because I want us to be ahead of the curve, right? So looking at this, I think they want to grab more of this liquidity here around 114, right down to $112,000 before they can take us. You can see we have more liquidity here around 119,500. So it's close to $120,000, which is, well, I think is reasonable, because I'm going to show you guys something. Yeah, let me just show you quickly what I'm trying to convey here. If we drop down to the daily time frame, you're gonna see something here. Like the way price move is is amazing. Look at this huge engulfing candle, yeah, on the daily time frame. After this huge candle, we haven't yet recovered at least half of this candle. Usually, when you see a huge candle like this, price recover half of it. But ever since, we haven't yet recovered half of this. That's why I think we are going to target half of this candle, which is around $120,000. That makes sense. And if we break and close above $120,000, then there's high chances we are going to go to $135,000, as I mentioned, because price is going to eat all of this liquidity here, this vector here. You can see it's a huge vector that we are going to recover on the daily time frame. So, guys, we still have some long way to go. It's okay. Don't feel as if we are done. Price is still above the 50-day moving average on the daily time frame, which is awesome. And we want to see price close above $116,000 today. At least this candle should close above $116,000 to give us more momentum. You can see I want us to stay within this range here, or just stay above the 50-day moving average on the daily time frame. And if say we break below this moving average, then we are going to go straight to the 100-day moving average on the daily time frame, which is going to be bad for us. We don't want to stay below the 50-day moving average. When we stay below that moving average, we are going to be looking for more short opportunity than longs. But now we are looking at longs. Now let's drop to another metric which I think is important here if say you want to actually understand how the market moves and how you're going to position yourself in the future. Look at dominance. Dominance is looking somehow bullish on the daily time frame. You can see rejection, meaning Bitcoin want to take over soon. And the target is going to be this 50-day moving average. Yeah. So whenever you see dominance hit this moving average, then your altcoins can start doing well against Bitcoin. For now, I think Bitcoin is going to do well against these altcoins. I'm saying so because Ethereum is not looking well. If you look at Ethereum on this time frame, particularly on the weekly time frame, you see that Ethereum is still yet to kiss the 5-day moving average and then to retrace back to the 13-day EMA. We haven't yet seen that. Price is still going to go to either the 13-day EMA and or the 5-day EMA. But the 5-day EMA is the closest. And ever since price hasn't yet gone there, and I think price is going to go there, we should expect Ethereum to go to about $4,000 at least. Then maybe from there we're gonna see price reject, go attempt to go and make higher highs. Maybe it can take us to about $6,000 before price can come back to hit this 13-day moving average. But for now, price has to come right down to reset a little bit before we see the next move. That's why I think Bitcoin dominance is going to do well, against most of the altcoins out there. And we can also confirm this by looking at total tree on the weekly time frame. You can see, look at this rejection here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we are seeing this one again. So if say Ethereum is gonna do bad, like retrace to kiss the 5-day EMA, then we might see this total tree drop down to maybe the 13-day EMA. And looking at USDT dominance, you can see that it has formed a hammer here on the weekly time frame. So we should be looking at this 50-day moving average to be the target on this time frame. That's why I think for now, we are still looking at what might happen with Bitcoin, and altcoin. There, for now, I think we shouldn't expect huge spike with Bitcoin and some altcoins out there. Maybe some few altcoins can do well, but these altcoins are going to be moving within the range, like the top to the bottom range, and based on current price action. And because of this, I want you guys to be ready for the Bitcoin bear market. And if we see Bitcoin bear market, it might affect the entire crypto market, except Ethereum gonna break us free from it. So this short-term move for Bitcoin, I think it's gonna take us to about $114,000. Before it can take us to $120,000, or maybe it takes us to $120,000 before it takes us back to 114 and then mark lower to go and hit the 50-day moving average. Whatever the case is, you guys now understand what to expect. You should be ready to take action, react quickly when price hit those key areas, those key liquidity zones. Price is always going to bounce, and if price bounce, then you want to look for that opportunity to buy as soon as possible. If you go to Ethereum, like look at Ethereum liquidity on the weekly time frame and also the lower time frame. Let's begin with the daily time frame. You see that we have lots of orders down here, right down to about $4,000. That's why I mentioned we should expect price to retrace to those key areas, at least hit the 5-day and the 13-day EMA. But look at both price on the daily time frame. We can still go to about 4,000, right, up to about $4,500 for Ethereum. But look at the downward side, and if we look at this on the weekly setup, let's see what we get. We have more liquidity above price than below price, right? So they can take us right down here to about $4,000, and after that take us right up to about 4,800. You can see we have lots of liquidity here, all right up to about $5,000. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the entire crypto market. If say you love it, like the content, share it with your friends. If you want to learn more about trading, I'm here to guide you. Make sure you join my free Telegram community. The links are found below this video. And let me help you get to the next level, teach you how to invest sustainably, how to trade any market out there. And guys, if say you want to be secured online, protecting your data, you need to use NordVPN. I highly recommend you use NordVPN to protect your data from hackers out there, protect your money, protect your crypto, protect your wallet, protect everything. NordVPN is going to help protect you from malicious websites, phishing websites, those bad guys out there who want to extort your information, want to get your money, want to hack your phone, hack your computer. NordVPN is going to protect you from them. Get NordVPN is cheap. Look at this price, $4. Or not up to $4, $3, some cents. If say you live in on the US, but if you live in Sweden, you're gonna get it for 40 krona, the best value. And guys, this is to protect you, and you get this for 2 years. This is fantastic. I highly recommend you get a VPN to protect you from these hackers out there. When you have a VPN, you click on any malicious website, VPN is going to protect you from that website. Tell you don't open the website because this is a website that want to extract your information. That's it, guys. Make sure you subscribe, join the Telegram community. Feel free to comment below what you think about the future of Bitcoin, crypto, and Ethereum. Until then, guys, see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye. Ciao.